Welcome everyone on the call today. Great to see such big numbers on the call. It's great to be here. On the call today, we have the main man himself, Ronald. So today's call, guys, is going to be questions coming from the field.
It's necessary for all to, because it's an external operations team. We actually just built the Ribbons platform, but the actual one running it is actually a third party that's running it. So it's actually out of our system itself. The Ribbons OTC business operation team. So that is the team that's actually running Ribbons itself. We developed it, then we pass it on to them to actually run it. So that's the relationship. Yeah, basically, we have actually talked with the operations team, and we are still trying to actually get them to agree with us on this. So one of the things is the limit itself will increase based on the reputation that the member has on trade itself. Okay, and this is actually for all crypto types. So if you would do a lot of transactions from BTC to ETH, then you will get a lot of this limit upgraded for BTC itself. If you would do a lot of BTC trade for CTOs, then you actually get more for BTC. If you do a lot of CTO trades out, you'll get more CTOs. So that is one of the things that is going to be implemented. It's actually implemented now, but what we're trying to make it is to become more simple, so that it doesn't care what type of trades to do, as long as to do a good trade, the limit for all will be increased. So that is actually what we are actually proposing to the OTC team. Okay, basically you can actually have multiple accounts, but you need to be able to react to this request as soon as possible, because if the account, let's say if you would open, let's say 50 accounts, and each of these accounts itself, you actually put an order out. Okay, the on our side itself is the operation side. They will actually look for these accounts and then start to trade with it. And if there's no response from that particular account itself, it will be graded with a negative rating, and the amount of CTOs that you can actually trade is actually lower and lower. So that's how it is. We try to encourage fair play, so that each of the members itself can have a chance to actually load or to offload their CTOs into this platform itself. Jarvis 2.0, we're talking to the lawyers on the 28th of this month, and after the 28th itself, we should be able to nail down the details for the subscription-based contract, and also the things that we cannot do and can do on this particular contract itself, and also how are we going to handle the transition from the members that is that agrees, and the member that do not agree. So we will have to have a solution for all of this, and also the privacy, the Personal Data Privacy Act, the PDPA, and also the GDPR and things like that. So we're actually trying to work with the lawyers to come up with the necessary documents, that is contracts that's needed for each of the members to actually sign off. And if the members do not sign off, then we will have another operation flow to actually handle their accounts. At the moment itself is still 500, just like Jarvis itself. Okay, there's nothing much change over there, and the amount of returns that you're getting back is still the same. But the only thing now difference is the what are we calling the returns The returns now is actually called data, and with the data itself, you're able to transfer it to your cloud SIM to actually use it. Okay, and if you do not want to transfer it to the cloud SIM to use it, which you don't need to, by the way, you can actually put onto the OTC to actually sell it off to other members who wants to buy data. So that is the way of getting the instant wealth. There's a certain grade. For example, if it's below 100, then it's something. If it's below 200, 100, 200 is something. From anything above, then is something. So we have a scale, and the scale itself will determine how much of data you're getting. Yes, same thing as well, like Jarvis itself. Within 1 month itself, there's a penalty. If it's after 1 month, then there's still a 1% penalty. But the only thing that we are doing different is within 90 days, you'll get back your subscription fee. So that's the thing that is going to be different. The reason for this is it's actually within 90 days. It's not exactly 90 days. So the reason why we're trying to do this is not to actually burden our servers to have too much of exit, so that it actually hurts the trading and everybody else. So this is what we actually learned from our past mistakes. Those not a lot, then it will be within a few weeks or days. If it's a lot of it, then we'll schedule it. That's why we need up to 90 days. Zero fee. Okay, so basically what happens is this, right? The CTOs is actually the profit that is actually gained from the trade, and if you do not actually take the profit out, you are leaving it back in the system. So that's how and what we are doing actually to actually get this back into the trade. So we do not really encourage this. We encourage more of the usage of the CTOs actually. So that's why we actually moved on this to push it to data. There's a big reason for this as well. Number one is the profit that is generated actually is equivalent only to the current price of the CTOs itself. But what we have not actually calculated is the loss of the opportunity that generates when we actually move in and out of the CTOs. So it creates a shortfall for our trades. Okay. Now we are taking back the CTOs, but we are not burning it off. We are actually holding back on our side. So CTOs generate more CTOs. This will create a double negative effect. So that is one of our biggest problems that we are having at the moment. But we have to do this step is because our channels are actually blocked. Only CTOs itself can actually move freely and effectively now on our chain. So basically for this particular reinvest, okay, we would change it in such a way that CTOs are in to actually buy for subscription. Then we don't actually lose out on the trade itself. So that's the new change is going to be for Jarvis 2 as well. More details of this will come up once we actually finish talking to the lawyers, and we'll come up with the detail. No, but you need to actually sign the subscription contract. You have to sign the subscription contract, but you do not need to have the SIM card. But if you have the SIM card itself, you can actually use it around wherever you go. You can actually top up data into it through your daily rewards for data. So that's a good thing. But if you do not have the SIM card, you don't need to anyway. So you will have a lot of data accumulated, and you can actually use this data to sell it to people who use it. Yeah. eSIM is a very good technology that we're actually working on with our suppliers itself. But eSIM is still relatively new, and it's quite a tough task for us to actually work with our backend providers on this. We are working with a few backend providers to enable eSIM in Southeast Asia. But in Europe side, we are looking for it, and also for US and Canada, we're looking for it as well. The eSIMs first will be released. Hopefully, we believe that it might be sometime next year. Our first eSIMs, which we will get rid of the actual SIMs. Not a lot of phones will support eSIMs. Only the new iPhone Xs and the new Samsungs and the new Huawei's and the new Xiaomi's. Anything around October, August this year, we'll have the eSIM feature. And we're working on that as well. But in the meantime, we will have the SIMs. If you do not have the SIMs itself, it's a bit more difficult, but you can actually get simpler phones to actually use this. Yeah. This is a very good question. Basically, we are trying to work out with the leaders that is the biggest in each of these provinces or cities itself to set up a joint partnership to create these centers. It is a legal necessity for us to have a after sales and service center in each of these countries in order to become an MVNO, to be able to sell services in the country itself. So we will be working with the biggest group cloud token cloud group in the particular place to come up with that. And basically, we will have a center, just like the experience center itself, which will also cover the distribution and the sale of the SIM cards, and also provide as a place for members to be able to get courses and attend for meetings and things like that. So yeah, it's the meetup place as well. We have three plans for this. If A doesn't work, we'll go to B, and B doesn't work, we'll go to C. So the first one is actually we are pushing our Hong Kong counterpart to speed up as much as possible. But they're also heavily affected by the events in Hong Kong. Some of the staff, or half of the staff, is actually on strike itself, part strike and things like that. So our second plan is actually to find other providers. So one of the things that we are looking for is a Philippine-based provider to provide cards, Visa, and also for UnionPay. But UnionPay is more for the Chinese, Asian China side. And the Visa is more for the European and the US and Canada side. So we are actually looking for B and C. Our first batch of the cards from our second provider will be in by 26, which we will be pushing it out to some of the members that is actually been waiting for about a month and a half or so. So we'll be pushing out to them first, following that particular list itself. This is what we're going to do. The first batch is coming on the 26th. The second batch itself is coming on the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. So it's 1K, 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 1K. That is coming in slowly. Yeah, it'll be in batches, but it will be pre-KYC with your particulars in there already. So we are making sure that when the cards hit the leaders, they are able to give these cards to the members itself, and they can use it already. Yeah. Yeah, so basically for C0s itself, it's a $500 limit per month. And C1 itself is also per month. C2, C3 and above, it is also per month. Okay, so that is the actual card limit that is given to us as well. But it might all change once we actually get the new rate cards from Visa and UnionPay. So every provider itself or every acquirer itself will have their own different limits. Okay. And we are also needed to actually work on we're trying to cost down as much as possible on the payment, the charges incurred when the cards are used. So we're trying to actually do a lot of these things before we push out these cards as well. For Z0 to C5, all these cards are all available. But we're trying to get all these cards to the hands of each of these members as soon as possible, because we know that we are not able to rectify the issue on chain. So the only way is to let members to be able to convert and withdraw their money off chain. So this is one of the most critical channel for us to enable members to withdraw. So this is what we need. Okay, so basically the CESA license is on the way here, but we are under the second, there's two licenses here to get. So the first is the CESA master license, which is already approved. So we're getting the sub-license itself. The sub-license is coming over to our site. We just need to fill up a few more forms and we can actually get it ready. That will be for the merchant OTC. Because we need the merchants to be able to transact or to take in the OTC, the cryptocurrencies, and then we can actually convert it to fiat and pass it back down. Once we actually do this cycle itself, the merchant itself would have the ability to become like banks. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do in order to become the second channel, merchants at the second channel for our members to be able to use to actually get their money. Okay, so you can actually walk up to any cash point merchants and pass them CTOs. They will accept the CTOs. We will pay them in their bank account, and they can pay you in cash. So this is what our plan is for the site. So and this ones we need a CESA license, because only the CESA license can enable us to work with banks legally to sell crypto for fiat. So basically what we did was this. Okay, we are working with a partner for the cloud SIMs, and these guys are, in order to sell SIM cards, you need to have a license, because you can't just churn out SIMs without a license, right? So basically, we're working with the partners to actually do this. Our partner itself, which is able to go on, which is based in Singapore, and we are actively trying to help them get the licenses in Malaysia. They have it already in Thailand. So once they have all these three, they will have 3 licenses, which we can do. We can get better rates for these 3 countries. Then we'll move on for the rest of the 10 countries in Southeast Asia. Once this is done itself, we can get better rates for data. So that is what our plan is. Within 3 years' time itself, we can use Cloud SIM to be able to push out to about 100 million members, not members, 100 million customers itself, which will become the consumer for the data, right? And the producers will be our partners itself or the members itself. Now we will generate data for them to be able to buy and to use. So this is how it's going to be. The money part itself, how to actually get cash faster without going through the chain and things like that. That's where the MasterCards comes in, the Visa cards comes in, the UnionPay cards comes in, the JCB cards come in, the merchants comes in. and the redemption program comes in. So we will be focusing a lot on this as well. But for the redemption part of it, we are actively focusing on Southeast Asia and including India for now. If we have better connections to Latin America or Europe or US, okay, we will consider to actually work with the leaders to actually get it done, so that members can also have the same kind of a feature to be able to use. Okay, one of the things that we are enabling is, like, for example, in Southeast Asia, you can walk into 7-Elevens using your CTOs. You're able to change for 7-Eleven cash vouchers. So you can actually just buy stuff with CTOs. Yeah. So one of the things that we're trying to build. We have actually withdrawn some portion of the Bitcoins for the OTCs to be able to run. So that's what we're doing to ensure that the OTC will have enough liquidity in order to accept the trades from the members in order to cash out. So we have actually done that. I think some members have actually scanned our addresses to find that we have actually did a withdrawal on that to fund the OTC. So that's one. The second thing is on how is our trade doing. Basically, as you all know, BDC itself has been performing quite poorly, but it's actually in our favor itself, because Asia is moving a lot. We have been actually using the new funds that actually come in to actually invest into USDT to buy down the Bitcoins. So which is kind of cool and kind of good. So the DCA model for us is actually working, plus the arbitrage that we're using with our partners itself is also coming in quite nicely. So that is also good. And the third is on the lending side. It's a steady 1.4% that's coming back every month for us. So at our current stage itself, the withdrawals and the conversions itself is still very high. From 330 mil that was about a week and a half ago, we are now about 315 to 17, depending on the Bitcoin price. So it's 315 to 317. But we are seeing a significant drop in the withdrawals already. Ever since we actually launched the function, and also the some members have already got the Mastercard and is able to use it. So it's actually proven to be a saving grace for us, as some of them are able to use it now. We are actually trying to get more cards out, as I say. Every week we're trying to get more cards out and out to more members. Of course, Europe is in our pipeline. There's no favorism, whether China gets it first or whoever gets it first. We're based on the names that actually comes in that order itself, and we're actually based on the order to actually do it. But it comes in batches. So we will only ship out in batches of hundreds and more. Okay. So, for example, if it's in Poland itself, 100 of this, then we'll send out 100 to the leader, and the leader itself will then be sent out. Okay. So that is our schedule itself. We are trying to make this as transparent as possible for this process itself, but we believe that it might not really work out that well. Because there's a lot more things to do and a lot of things are manual. So we're trying to see how we can do from that. So that it can go back to the pool itself to actually maintain the price. If not, the price will not move. And also for the withdrawals and things like that. So we are actually doing a lot of that. we are not able to commit to 100%, but we'll do our best in order to get as much done as possible. As I said in many of the Zoom calls itself, we will look for the lowest price to the highest price to buy back using the set amount of funds that we have. The OTC itself will have liquidity as well in order to chip in to actually patch up this to buy the rest. So this is what we are trying to build. It goes to the profit pool, yeah. Yeah, actually, I tried to do that, but I've been advised by the lawyers not to actually do it so soon. One thing they need me to do is to actually work out on the whole corporate structure. Once the corporate structure is done and it's laid out, then we can actually show more data. So this is what we have been advised to do. Even on Facebook, I'm advised not to share too much. That's why you can see that I've been actually trying to withhold myself to share too much of information. But within Cloud Chat itself, we are able to do it because it's only for members only. So we are trying to do that as much as we can. Yeah. So once we have got more of the things laid out legally, we're able to share more. We are, as you know, yesterday we actually tried to launch it. A flood of users came in and it crashed the servers. This happened many times with. But this was a new provider that we have been using based in Malaysia, and they did not anticipate our traffic to be that much. At a point, there were about 80,000 users signing up at one time. It just crashed the machine. So the second version or the update came out about 6 hours later, and I think it's still surviving until now. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is to let you convert out from Jarvis first. So that's the first thing that we are trying to address now. So once we fix the conversion problem, then we will work on the withdrawal issue as well. That is our plan at the moment itself. Anyway, we can't drag too long because once we actually enforce the change from Jarvis 1 to Jarvis 2, there are contracts to be signed. And if the user do not agree to the terms and conditions set, the account itself will be changed to a regular customer account, and all the assets from Jarvis itself will be returned to them in their wallet.
Thanks, Ronald. Thanks for that, Ronald. I know, guys, a lot of you on the call, there was a lot more questions in the chat. A lot more questions for Ronald. Guys, we've done our best with limited time. Ronald has to go back to the team. He has to finish the OTC, get smooth it out, work on the issues there. Guys, I want to thank everybody for being on the call. Thank you for Ronald for giving us the time. Guys, we understand we had some challenges over the past 2 months. We can see Ronald is working through the challenges with us. Guys, the products, the reporting back on the products, especially the cloud travel, has been absolutely amazing. Start using your cloud tokens, guys, and the utility. This is what it's all about. And as Ronald works through these challenges right now, we're coming out the other side. So, guys, with that, thank you, everyone, for coming on the call. Have a fantastic day. And any of the other questions you have, guys, send them over to us, and we will try to answer them from you. Okay, this is being recorded. It will be uploaded on the channel after. Thank you.